Everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Nice to see you all here. Welcome to Socktober. We have one more meetup after this one, but here we are joining up for another fun hour of Sock Talk. I'm Iris, Cashmere Goat in Camden, Maine, and it's nice to see everybody. Yeah, good to see some faces we haven't seen in a little bit. Does anybody want to jump in and start us off with a little sock updates?
Well, I guess I will.
Hi, Carol. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
So I finished the one sock,
Yay!
but the cuff is really loose and it feels loose to me. Is it because I'm on Addy and the Addy is a half size larger, the flex point?
So on your foot it feels larger?
It just feels a little bit loose.
And is it on the leg only?
Yes. Yes.
And hold it up for us to see. So it's just the rib right up at the tippy top, and here, scooch it over just a little bit closer to the camera.
Bring it to me.
Okay.
So I used that contrast yarn, the teeny. So I don't know whether because I did that.
But the leg, so it's not just the ribbing, the whole leg feels a little looser.
Well, the leg part here isn't bad. It's not bad. So I put that aside and I ordered some new yarn. Nice. And I got the On the Round. What is it called?
The Nimble Sock?
The Nimble Sock in the color latte. And I
am
with the silk mohair. And that is Malabrigo in the color Natural. And it is heavenly.
That's so sweet. Remind me of the pattern, because I know we went back and forth and chatted about it, but what was the pattern again? The Indoorsy.
Indoorsy by Sonda Yarn, and it is just absolutely wonderful.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's going to be my new favorite sock.
Very cozy. I love that. I'm so glad to get the update. Well, so back to your other question. And we'll open it up here to see what other people have to say. But one thought I'm having is, did you go down a needle size for that top ribbing?
I did not, because that was the smallest needle size I had.
So perhaps that could be one thing. A lot of sock patterns will suggest that you go down a needle size or two for that upper cuff.
Okay.
And I mean, if it feels too sloppy as you're wearing it, I mean, I do know some folks who have taken just a little bit of that
elastic.
Elastic thread, not the heavy duty elastic, just elastic thread, and just kind of woven that in to the top edge, on the reverse side, so you're not going to see it either.
Yeah, I thought of that. So we'll give it a try.
Okay. Anybody else have any hot tips for that particular issue other than the ones we mentioned?
That was my first thought, was the nylon thread to help shore it up.
Yeah.
Give it
Is the pattern size so that you start with different numbers of stitches? So maybe
for the cuff, you mean?
For the whole thing, like maybe like you picked a larger size.
No, the smallest size.
You picked the smallest size. Okay.
Yeah. We'll
All right,
figure it
well,
out.
you'll have to report to us next week what you decide to do, but I do love the way that that indoorsy one is coming along.
Oh, gosh, I just love it. It just feels so wonderful.
Awesome. I love the fuzzy halo that we're seeing
Yeah.
on the screen.
I got one more quick question. So should I soak this and block it? Do you block it by hand or do you use the sock blockers?
What does the room think?
I always just block by hand.
Okay.
I use the sock blocker sometimes after I wash them. You know, in case they're starting to felt a little bit.
Okay.
I've also just been too impatient and just put them right on my foot and then
That too.
block after I wash it for the first time.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, anybody else want to give us a sock?
I was going
update?
to ask her, because I was not paying attention, what size were those Addy needles that made them that she thinks made the sock too large?
The one.
Really, a one? Hmm, golly.
Yeah.
Was that on the ribbing? I tuned in late. Was that on the ribbing?
Yes.
So maybe eliminate some stitches,
Yeah.
you know?
Them
Okay.
together.
Do you remember how many stitches you started with?
54.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is that a heavier yarn? It's not, fingering weight. It must be
It's
DK or something?
It's the teeny, what's the teeny, Iris?
Fingering weight?
It's like a little bit on the heavier side of a fingering.
Huh.
Yeah,
Maybe
interesting.
you just knit
Loose.
looser. Not a tight knitter, but a looser knitter.
I'm known to be a tighter knitter, generally speaking.
Was
Big
it
puzzle.
top down or toe up?
Top down.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Oops,
Well,
I will get it.
Because
You'll
So let's
get
see how
it.
this new fuzzy one turns out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's indoorsy. It's meant just to be lounging around in.
Yeah, beautiful.
Gonna be gorgeous.
Especially in the latte with that fuzz yarn.
Oh, that latte, wonderful. And the on the round yarn is beautiful.
It really is.
Yeah, I love knitting with it.
Well, let's hear from somebody else who wants to share a little updates.
I will.
Okay, Gwen, how are you doing?
I'm on my second sock of my first pair for the second time.
Okay.
sounds like
I
a
had
family
gotten-
tree.
I had gotten into the light blue section,
Yep.
realized that I had dropped a stitch, but I couldn't
Oh.
find it. And so I just figured maybe I had miscounted. So I added a stitch. And then I found the stitch I dropped. And then when I tried to pick that one up, I made more of a mess than anything else because the yarn started to split. So I ripped the whole thing out and started over again.
Ah.
You're making good
But
time.
I've knitted it, you know, what I ripped out and I've added on. So I'm on the way to getting it finished. So
Oh, frustrating.
it is.
But it looks
Ah.
good.
It looks great. What was
It's
the
getting
yarn
there.
again?
Gosh, I don't remember.
You probably said it in a previous session. Well,
Yeah,
speaking
I
of
don't-
dropping stitches, I should not be trying to do this right now because I think I just dropped a stitch.
Oh no.
Okay, so I can't unspotlight you yet, Gwen. Hang on there for a second. Come back,
I mean, is
little
that
tiny
is that
stitch.
a yarn that changes colors or is it you're changing colors?
No, this changes. It self-striping.
Pretty.
Thank you for the word. Those were the adult words I didn't remember when I was trying.
It makes stripes on its own.
There you go.
The only kind to have.
All right, well, my tragedy is momentarily averted and I've paused and I will be taking care of that later.
Grab the crochet
Um,
hook quick.
So tiny, and it suddenly just happened and I was like, wait, no, what's going on? We're talking about dropping stitches. Is it catching through my ears?
I hope not. I've dropped more stitches on this pair of socks than I have in my entire knitting lifetime.
Oh,
Oh, that's weird.
It's been crazy.
Anybody else want to update us on the sock that you're working on?
I'll go.
Yeah, great.
So I have finished my first one, and it's the bride sock, right? So I'm on my second one. I had the ribbing, I was doing the ribbing last time we were together. But in the meantime, I got myself my little 9-inchers, and that's made a huge, I'm going a lot faster with that. They had them at Rhinebeck, so there was a shop that had perfect number. She said she had them all, and she did. And so that's working really nicely, and it's making it easier for this patching the yarn and working with the loop and all that I have to do to get my stripes. But
Amazing.
And I did a lot of knitting today, both on a sweater and this, because we had a snow day today, and you can see it's not snowing.
Whoa, what?
There were 2 of our buildings in our district were without water. So they
Oh.
So we used an emergency day, and what a beautiful emergency day it was.
I bet you were not sad about that.
Not at all. In fact, it was funny. One of my teammates, she's like, these days have been gorgeous. We should have a day off. And when I see her tomorrow, I'm going to say, okay, when it's time for a snow day, you're going to say something. So we get that snow day.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Perfect. So I got that sleeve or a sweater, and I've just been a good knitting day.
Perfect. A little boost midweek gets you through to the end of the week.
Yes. Especially when, the list of gifts is long and I'm not even halfway through yet.
Got it. Anybody else want to give a little update?
I can go next.
Yeah, hi Lynn, good to see you again.
Hi. Yeah, so I've been working on this Christmas sock.
Oh yeah.
This is for my daughter-in-law because my mom had made stockings for all of us kids and stuff, and at the time that my daughter-in-law joined our family, she wasn't able to knit anymore. So she's had kind of a pre-made one at my house, but I decided she needs to have a homemade one. So anyway,
nice.
I hope that, yeah, I'm going to have to alter the pattern at the top a little bit because it's very patterned at the top, and there's not really like a stripe that will work where I can, put her name on it. But other than that, it's an easy knit, and it's self-striping, so it's all good.
Cool. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, who would like to be up next? Pat, it looks like. Hi, Pat.
how are you guys? Well, I'm this much through second sock, working my way
Nice.
there.
Beautiful.
So
Big texture.
I took a little pause to start my Christmas workshop. I've got a big project, so my house looks like a fabric explosion happened. So I've got fabric everywhere. So next week I can show you what I'm doing. But my yarn came for the shawl. Beautiful. What is it? It says the silk paca.
Yeah.
But isn't this burgundy color gorgeous?
It is beautiful.
They both are.
So once I get the Christmas stuff done, for all the girlfriends, we have to be ready in advance. Then I can get back to knitting. So that's where I am.
Love that. Can't wait to see how your beautiful shawls start to come together. Maybe I'll show mine since my knitting is a little in a scary place right now. I decided to take a different track with a yarn that I got when we were having our little anniversary party at the Goat, and Karen from Seven Sisters was with us. And I had been thinking that I would do Alice's Squam Lake shawl with this beautiful silk mohair
That is
that
gorgeous.
Karen dyes.
Oh, my favorite color in the world.
Beautiful color.
It's so pretty. And but I had it paired with this really intense blue, and I thought I was gonna like it. But the Squam Lake shawl, you're like holding the two strands, a fingering and a fuzzy lace weight together, but then certain sections you're just doing the fuzzy, and so there's a little bit of a window pane, and I felt like it was just showing up as way too stripy, and I didn't prefer that. So I actually decided to cast on for my own bateau mouche,
Wonderful.
giving into peer pressure from you all.
Yeah.
Anything we
I
can do
mean,
to help.
there you go. And so now we can all be having some fun. It is such a relaxing pattern, as Mary Ellen suggested. And I'm actually making a smaller one because the person I'm knitting it for, and this is also gift knitting, is a more petite person. So I felt like she might feel like it was too voluminous but it's just so easy. It's the best, like, just put on a show, and you're on size 7, so it's just breezy knitting, and that's been super fun. And my sock, I mean, as you can see, I'm on the toe. It's just something happened right at the beginning, right as I was decreasing.
You can
That's
fix
all.
it. It'll be
I'll
okay.
fix it. Yeah.
I can't wait to see the shawl finished because
Mhm.
and I'm doing the bigger version, and I'd love to see what the smaller version looks like.
Mhm. I will keep you updated.
Yes.
Yes, Mary, nice to see you. Hi,
Hi.
Mary.
I thought I was on mute. I apologize if I'm not. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, all right, sorry. So last week my problem was ladders, and I took, and I think it was Julie's suggestion that she moves between 2 and 6 stitches
Yep.
on the needles, and things are looking a lot better, right? You can
Hey,
see I got
Good.
the rest of that ankle. These are huge. These are for my son. He wears a 10.5 shoe. So they're looking a little big, but I got, I have a little place like where I was working on the heel that's still a little bit less ideal than I would like, but that's okay. But I'm working my way around the ankle and the instep, and everything looks pretty good. So
Awesome.
I did, however, look at both videos that were suggested, and I thought they were great as well. So I appreciate all those suggestions last week. I'm feeling a little bit better, but I think the next time I do a 64 stitch sock, I am going to try to find a 9-inch round needle to do it on and see if that helps me a little bit. But
Yep. The 9-inch circulars are pretty cool. There's some people, like, I know Kimberly, you swear by them, and
well, I have them in size 1 because I do one of those lined mittens where you do the a fingering weight and then you line it with a worsted weight, so you sort of knit the whole thing. And I do use circulars for that, and I don't know why I haven't switched over to trying it for socks, but it works for my mitten much better than double points. So thank you. Thanks everybody for the tips.
So can I ask a question? Because I use double points, and I think I tried using a circular. Did the 9-inchers give enough room for the circumference of the sock? Obviously it must, because everybody's
does.
loving them.
It does. It
And
does.
and do your hands get tired working?
No, because
clothes?
it's just a continuous knit. You're just going around and around and around. So you don't even have any gaps within your stitches. It knits up really smoothly. I can't really show you with the sock that I'm working on right now because I'm working on little triangles on 9-inch needles. So I'm doing a little section here, and I just finished this section over here, but I'm still doing it on a circular. And when you're knitting in the round on a 9-inch, the stitches are a lot smoother. You don't have the lumps as you try to turn on your double points, and to get that little, sometimes I used to get like a little smile there, and I couldn't get it quite tight enough to make it look even. And when I switched to the 9s, that all went away.
Do you have, well, I know it's a learning curve, but doing the heel and I'm just so used to having the 4 sections, and two
The nice-
sections is the
the
front
nice
and 2
thing-
sections is the back.
Well, the nice thing about doing it on the 9s is that depending on whichever heel that you decide to do, you're only doing half, so you can put it on another double pointed needle and then just knit the heel.
Okay.
So, and then you can put it back on the circular. I actually
Okay.
found in that first book that I showed you all, my go-to knitting reference book, it shows you how to increase for a heel on a 9 on a circular and decrease back into the sock. And I never
Okay.
have to take them off and it's just as strong as any other heel.
So you're
it is a
saying you
learning
take them
curve.
off. You take them off and put them on like a barber cord or something, or another
Nope.
needle?
No, it's all one. What it is a series of increases on the backside. So you use your markers in a strategic way when you're using circulars for your socks. Like I mark 32 and 32, so I know which one is front and back.
Right.
So when I come to the heel, I'm only increasing on the backside. So then the way that the pattern reads for me is I have to increase up to 64 stitches on the backside. And then I decrease to shape the heel, bring it back down to 32, and then I go for the toe. And I
Okay.
never have to take them off the needle.
Okay. Well,
Kimberly-
let's try that.
Is that called the Flegel heel? Is that?
I can tell you,
I will
because I got
also
my
say,
handy
Pat,
dandy book right here.
yeah, good. So you look that up. Also, just to Pat's point, I will say that the first couple times that, oh yeah, okay, hold on. Let me pin you here. Keep it right up there.
Can
No,
you spotlight it?
yep, I'm spotlighted now.
Why is
Okay.
it looking like it's upside down?
No, it was fine for us.
It might be for you.
Okay, it's called
not
the
for us.
strong heel.
The strong heel.
And it shows you how to increase on the back side of your circular needle. And
Yep.
so you can see that, for me, I underline the 64 because I always knit 64 stitches and how many I have to increase. And I've only found that in this book.
That is the best book.
Ever.
Yeah, it was the first one I bought.
So Pat, when I was using the 9-inch circulars for the first time, I will say that it took me just a minute, but it wasn't bad. I will say that I was like kind of holding my hands a little. The knitting was sitting in my hands just a little differently. I didn't find it was hard on my hands but it was like, you're picking up something. Your hands know how it feels with deep
Right.
hands, so of course it's going to feel just
I
a
think
smidge
when I
different.
tried it before, it was the moving the stitches along that I found awkward. It's not the same as on the double points. It just seemed like that was cumbersome. So then I gave up, but I might try that again.
Due
just
to
see.
trial and error on my part, I ended up going from the Dreams wooden 9 circulars to the Chai-Gu metal, and it works a lot better. The stitches move really smoothly across the metal versus the wood. I was pushing the stitches and it was just harder. So that's what I found. I've done a lot of trial and error with a 9-inch needles, just like Iris said. I had to practice, a little bit, especially when you're doing your ribbing but markers become very, very important when you're using 9-inch circulars for both the front and the back and working with the heel.
I will say the one danger also is you get going so fast, you're likely to blow by your inch count. If it's like you're doing your foot and I'm just like, oh, tra la 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 la. And on a 9-inch, it's going by so quick that I have multiple times have blew by. Let's see, was there one other thing? Oh, I know what I was going to say, Pat, is if you want to take a peek at sort of the heel part or any parts of it, the crazy sock lady, she's got all those videos, like knit socks on a magic loop, knit socks on double pointed, knit socks on a 9-inch, and you can just sort of, I think she's pretty good about putting chapters in there, and then you can just advance right to the part that you want to see.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'll check that out this week.
I think it's in our playlist too, our sock playlist.
Okay.
So I
Excellent.
did manage this week to do a triangle on my sock. So I
Let's
do have a
see.
triangle now.
Ooh.
And now I started the second triangle.
Wow.
So I'll tell you something, when you're doing something this intricate, it does wear on your hands. I won't lie.
Yeah, I bet. It's so pretty though, Kimberly, and congrats. Congrats. Who wrote the candy corn pattern? I was trying to find it on Ravelry.
Oh, I have that answer.
Okay.
Can I do like the ooh, ooh, ooh?
Yeah, well, you're the one who's knitting the socks, so I'm guessing you're the only one with the answer.
You need to buzz in.
I can buzz. Okay. It is Louise Robert, and she did it for Biscott yarn, the Biscott store in New Jersey. You can buy the pattern online. It's like $6, I think.
Cool. I was putting together our color work bundle on Ravelry, and I was like, that's such a unique one. I thought it should belong in our bundle somewhere.
Yeah, that's where you can get it, and she has a whole library of different sock patterns, and there's one that she does as a spider web, and so she does really, really crazy, cool sock patterns.
Great. Anybody have another sock update for us?
I can go.
Oh, yeah, let's see. Yeah, go for it. I'm just like trying to find you on my screen. Start talking and that'll be easy for me to find you.
Okay, no problem. I
you go.
am super slow right now, but it's a very long sock, so I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a knee-high sock.
Yeah.
But I'm at the cuff, so almost done, and I should start the toe of the next one here pretty quickly. But it's
beautiful.
very long.
I like the colors.
Yeah, I'm loving this yarn. I've never used it before, but it's really soft and nice.
Is it the Laines du Nord, the cotton one, the summer sock?
Yes, summer sock.
Yeah, we have that at the shop, and that's beautiful to see that knit up. You're gonna have to send me some pictures.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that when they're finished.
Cool.
So congratulations.
Very nice.
Oh, I'm getting there.
So are you sitting inside or outside?
I'm actually inside, and this is a background.
That is a pretty awesome background.
Yeah, this is part of the UT Austin campus.
Oh,
cool.
Cool.
All right. Ginny, you want to be up next?
Sure. I've been kind of quiet so far because I've been working on the fish lips heel.
Ooh.
I don't know. Quite. So I got, there we go. So but I wasn't sure, so I went with my gut. So the pattern on the front, so the whole circumference is 68 stitches, but the pattern on the front is 34 stitches. So when it was saying to do the heel, I moved 2 at each end to the front so that there was 32 and 32.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
So I figured the heel has got to be, the top of your foot has to be as big. I'm sorry, I'm very awkward right now. But I've gotten to the point where I have like, I can't listen and watch and go back to the directions and read. So I'm at like the last step, and I usually am doing 2 at a time. So that the twins have been separated right now. This one still has heel done, but I had to put it on a separate needle because I was just like, I know I'm gonna screw something up. So, yeah, I liked it. It's, you get into a rhythm with it of the way that do the, increases. And again, not certain when I was doing it, if you were supposed to do the twin stitch every single stitch, but I did. So we'll see. Right? I mean, looks okay.
Looks great.
It
like a
does.
heel. Yeah,
It
so
looks heel shaped, so that's good.
there you go. There you go. So that's, that's it.
Great.
That's my update.
Awesome. Well, thanks for giving us the fish lips update. Beth, did you want to weigh in because you have the fish lips
Right.
kiss heel
So I
experience
was-
to share?
Yeah, I'm on my second sock and I'm on the heel right now. So that's why I was like counting a little bit. But like I just did the I haven't gone back to where it narrows back down. So but I forgot to bring my finished sock, but I did try it on and I did really like the fit of it. It fit nice and snug around my heel, which sometimes I feel like the traditional gusset one is a little loose. So so that was good. And then I don't know who recommended the new graft, the new toe graft. Did it last week and I loved it.
Yeah,
So great.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, I've got to like find a way to write it down and always have it handy, but it just, and I do it on, I do my socks on two 16-inch circulars. So it was really easy to flip it inside out and not lose any stitches.
Yeah.
I feel like, I think one of the things I always get frustrated with the regular one is that you get sort of the little bumps at the end. Especially at the very end.
Right.
And this one seemed a lot smoother. So I think this is gonna be going into my permanent, my permanent toe graft.
So Beth, are you doing top down or toe up? So you must be doing top down.
Yeah, this is top down. This pattern is top down. I would like to try the fish lips or fish. I don't know which. I feel like I'm saying, is it kiss or lips? But anyway, I would like to do it on a toe up. Try it on a toe up and see how it is. And the nice thing about this pattern that I used, the sock pattern I used, they actually recommended that heel. So
Mine too.
Like when you like get the pattern, buy the actual heel pattern, it has like about 7 pages of measuring your foot so you can figure out where to actually cut in. And then it's like page 8 is actually how to do it. And the great thing about this was like, I could just go to page 8 and start right there because she already said like, okay, you're at the point where it should be set up. But I like it a lot.
Yeah. And I had learned something like that when I did a class on top down versus hem up sweaters and using that kind of a increase on a raglan sweater. It was very similar for short rows. So,
well, I'm really curious because they use that twin stitch for the short rows. And I've done like in short rows, I've done a lot of, the different ones they have. And I found this to be really easy. So I'm wondering like if you can take it and use it, say like on a sweater or a shawl pattern, or whatever, where you're doing like some short rows, because to me, it was easy. Like it's really easy to see where your little short row stitches are. And I don't know what's the one where you stretch it over the back. That one is always like real futzy to me. So I felt like this stitch was like a lot easier to make and easier to see. So I might keep that one to see like if it's transferable into like a sweater.
Cool. Love transferable skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, the class I took, it was bottom up and top down seamless sweaters with yoke in the round. Paula Herrera. That was the class. And she taught that twin stitch. And she's like, this is the easiest short row you're ever going to do, and you can use it everywhere. So
Okay.
it was familiar to me. Hers, like I said, I wasn't sure because most of them, it's like you get within 2 stitches of your last, and then, but this, the way my pattern was written, it seemed you did it you got to that last, within 1 stitch of your last,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the twin stitch.
Mhm.
You go
Cool.
for it. You go for it.
Anybody else want to update us? Actually, Julia, can we have an update on the stocking? The little advent stocking set you're making?
Well, I tell you,
That doesn't sound too good.
Uh-oh.
Pat was talking about getting distracted by Christmas crank up. So granddaughter adores Barbie, and I do too. This is on its way to being a Barbie dress. It's a very fancy skirt where you knit 5 strips and then you spend 3 evenings joining them. And now I'm in the process of getting the waist whittled in. So it just took me the whole time I've been listening to everybody else to do one round around that.
Oh my golly.
I'm certifiable right now. But the baby or the Christmas stocking has half of the fancy number pattern for number 2 done. And I did most of that last night in a couple hours. So I do expect to finish this week, especially since I've got that foolish skirt made at this point.
I love it.
You know, it's kind of good to be working 3 or 4 projects on very small needles, because in order to get the last few of the knit 2 togethers done on the row I just did, I wound up having to go down to my size 1 needle, which happily was sitting right here stuck in a ball of yarn. But I'm not sure that I can follow the pattern and listen to talk
Exactly.
for this. And so that's why I was working on the other one, because it was fiddly, but at least it was 1 color.
Yeah. Oh, I love the Barbie dress. That's going to be quite elegant.
Thank you. I'm combining 2 patterns because this gorgeous skirt was on an absolute dog of a top. So now I have to figure out how to work the much fancier evening gown type bodice onto it.
And
But we'll get
that's going to fit a Barbie doll because it looks really big.
Well, it is big. It's going to
Wearing crinolines underneath or something.
Oh my gosh, I was going to ask you, do you have a Barbie that you're working
You
with
have
as
to.
you make
I
this
do.
creation?
I do, and she's also getting a shawl, which now needs its embellishments.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is all yarn that was left over from a shawl that I finished in the finish along. It's definitely going to have several more rows where it comes in, and then it should just poof itself out quite nicely.
Hold her up a little bit further so we can see her.
Right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're there. I had a beautiful dress, which unfortunately I gave away, that my mother had knit for my Barbie when I was a little girl. And it had a skirt about this wide. And so I know that you can bring it in with a few rows of making sure that you've got most of your stitches doing a decrease.
Wow.
What I'm concerned
Beautiful.
about is making sure that I have a sufficient opening in the back for So I'll be studying patterns. I'm going to have to set this down now because I'll have to study the pattern for the next step.
Wow.
So,
True labors of love.
And I know Ada loves her dolls and plays with them, but I get the biggest kick out of how much her mother loves the stuff that I make. And since that daughter-in-law is not one I get to spend a lot of time with, to be able to do something that she thinks is really cool makes me very happy.
That's wonderful. Let's see. Anybody who hasn't shared that kind of feels like sharing an update? You don't have to, no pressure. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you guys. So I was working on putting together the blog post and Ravelry bundle for the colorwork sock patterns that folks had recommended, and that was so much fun to look at some of these. And two sort of designers were recommended over and over again by the respondents. One was Stone Knits, who does some really fun and whimsical colorwork socks, and the other was Summer Lee, who, as we know, is the grand sock maven queen of all socks. And I don't know if there's anybody here who has been enjoying the new All Creatures Great and Small series on BBC.
Yeah.
Summer has put together a set called the Darrowby set, and it's a sock for Tristan and a sock for Helen, inspired by one of the knits that they've worn in the show. Very cool. And the one for Helen was super sweet. I actually really loved, I think it was a vest that she was wearing, but it's mostly a pretty simple sock, but then up at the top there's like this really fun little Fair Isle style color work, which was really cute. So that's going to be in the bundle, and that was pretty fun to see. Love that.
Did you go to Rhinebeck or whatever it's called? Anybody want to give an update on that?
Yes, let's have some Rhinebeckers weigh in. Ginny, tell us.
Well, the fun part was meet up with Alice, which was Alice Dunsmith. It was fun. And also I had done Andrea Mallory's Sweater Framed, and it was bizarre to see yourself walking and coming and going. It was so many people.
There were a lot of those, yes.
Yes, all over.
My colorway was different than most. I mean, a lot of people followed her almost exact colorway. And but there was a baby that had a version. There was a dog that had a version. There was a woman who'd done like a capelet. It was really cool, but up in here, like say from here to here, it was cables in a solid color. And then the capelet came down. She and I started talking, and she said, "Yeah, I don't like sleeves anymore. I just don't want to do sleeves anymore." I turned everything into a capelet. I was like, okay.
Okay.
So we were discussing like when you feel confident enough as a knitter to adapt a pattern. And it again, the meetup on the hill at 2:10 or whatever it was crazy. But fun.
Yeah.
I'd never done it before. And then I saw Alice, and there were probably 5 or 6 of us who had done some of Alice's sweaters. And because it was about 70 something degrees, I was very glad to get framed, branded.
It was hot.
Yeah, off, and a nice little Schoonock Bay on. So that was nice. And you know, I really feel like this is like temptation, or a new step in my life. I don't know what my next project is going to be, so I didn't buy any yarn.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Whoa.
I have so many boxes upstairs of, oh, I love that yarn, I should buy it.
Yeah.
But I did go, there's like a couple of different vendors that I see all the time. And so, hand lotions and soaps and things like that. And then I went to watch the Frisbee dogs and the border collies, the herding sheep. And what was the other thing? There was something else. Oh, goats. I went to see goats. Yeah.
Yay.
Goats were pretty cool. And
Oh.
the llamas and the sheep and the alpacas, and so I was amazed though at how much finished products were for sale.
There were quite a
Was anybody else there?
Yeah, 29 were there.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So many gloves and mittens and scarves and hats, but I guess if you're a vendor, there's a lot of people that just come and they don't really know what it is and they want to go home with something. So that's probably a smart move on.
Well, you know, it was chilly that morning, right?
Yes.
So, we ended up at there was a llama farm out of Unadilla, New York.
Mm.
And they had a beautiful little scarf
Yep.
that was able to wrap around my neck just for the amount of time it was cold. Right? And then I could pop it in my bag. So what's great is it's got some colors of different coats I have. So
Is it woven?
it is woven, yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. And then I got my needles I was looking for. And then Gwen is the best friend ever. We went through all the barns, all the buildings. We stopped through the food section. There's like a building of foods.
Yep.
You can go in and you can try various cocktails and wines and things like that too.
I was surprised at that.
Yep. And
A lot of men there, like, I've done my bit, now it's my turn.
and I also got my maple cotton candy, which I absolutely love. So we had been up in the barns because there's a hill and you come down, you come up the hill and you come up to the buildings. So there's, I don't know, what, 10 barns, and then there's 4 or 5 buildings. And we had been through them all, not all of them, most of them. And we come to the end and I was like, you know, I really like that yarn in one of those barns. And Gwen goes, do you remember where it was? And I went, I think I do. So I'm like going through my head, like, where was it? Where was it? Where was it? So then I said, I think it's in building whatever, 39 or whatever. Of course, it's one of the last ones at the end. And sure enough, it was.
All the way back down the hill.
Good for you.
Oh,
wow.
So it's gray with these reds and burgundies. I got two.
What are we going to do with it?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But we're going through those other buildings and I'm like, I really like that yarn.
Yeah, there was one vendor who had really pretty cowls and they came in like a little tin tea can.
Oh,
and I looked at it and I looked at it and looked at it and I thought, oh, that'd be really nice to make for my son's girlfriend. And I looked at it and I thought, well, it's never going to happen by Christmas because that's just not going to happen. There's too much other stuff. So then I'm like, well, then her birthday's in September. So that's kind of like far off. And the guy's like, oh, take a picture of our sign. And I have it and I'm sure he sells online. So if I change my mind, but I did meet the Cashmere Goat Association.
Yes.
oh,
I said, to them, do you know there's a store called the Cashmere Goat? And they were like, what? And so I gave Alice a brochure to give to Iris about the Cashmere Goat. And well, she should have some Cashmere Goat yarn in her shop. And I said, I'll pass it along.
nice.
yeah, awesome. So cool.
Now, I did buy yarn. There was a great shop there. It's Carradine Farms. They're from Chincoteague Island in Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Know
they
where
had
that
a
is.
yarn, a yarn that was specially dyed for the Rhinebeck Festival. So I don't know the colors,
Ooh.
Very pretty.
but it's got
Just
like
gorgeous.
aquas and tans and browns and stuff. So I bought 2 hanks. It's a DK weight and it's 100% merino wool. Bought 2 hanks and went, I think I know what I'm going to do with them. Actually, I had written down a couple of projects and left the paper at home. So I kind of guessed at what I needed and I underestimated. So I called them and they sold out at the festival, but they're making more.
Wow.
So
Yay.
he said in 2 weeks that it should be on their website and order. And because I want to make, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
That's the one that Pat has made, right?
that's on my
Yeah.
list too.
Yeah, so that's
Cool.
what I'm going to do with it.
Sorry, I'm muted. I've got 3-year-olds running around here, actually dogs. Decided now's the time to do Zoomies because mom's on her meeting.
No different
Everybody's
than human
zooming at
4-year-olds.
your house.
Gracious. Yes, that's the one I made. I love that shawl. Love, love, love that shawl.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm thinking it's gonna look really pretty with the yarn when I
It will be gorgeous.
the rest of it.
Really pretty.
You'll have to show us when you're finished.
I will.
Yes. But overall, it was a good day. We were there, I think, 3.5 hours.
Oh,
We were
wow.
pretty much done with the walking at that point. So we went off and had lunch.
Actually,
Also-
I was done with the people at that point.
Well, there's that. Yeah. A lot of people on Saturday for sure.
I would love to know how many people go through the gates in
I
like,
was wondering that too.
I heard somewhere 30,000 over the weekend.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
That sounds about right for
Mm.
things I've read about other years. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
And
heard,
there were a lot of people, and then the food trucks and everything had just lines like crazy.
There were lines for the bathrooms. It
But
was
if you had to go to
ridiculous.
the bathroom, I don't know. You're kind of out of luck.
actually, when I was online, there was a guy standing near me and he had like Charlie Brown's sweater on, you know, with the zigzag
Yeah.
on orange. And the girl in front of me, we're both sitting there and I was like, that's Charlie Brown. She goes, I know, that's great. That's so cool. You know, knitters, women, we just talk to anybody, right? We just,
Right.
yeah. I do want
It's,
to,
it's
the
it's
local,
fun to be there.
yeah.
Oh,
the units
Mary
for me-
raised her hand.
I'm sorry.
Mary, you have a question?
Well, I just kind of had a funny story this weekend because I went in a shop, a local shop down in southern Maine. And this man comes to us as we walked into the store and said, I'm not a knitter. I really probably can't help you. I'm just here to keep the shop open. And we soon discerned that his wife, who was the owner, was at Rhinebeck.
Okay.
And my two girlfriends and I were like, well, that's okay. You know, we pretty much know what we're looking for. We were just kind of browsing around. And so a little bit later, two other people came into the shop and he went over and he kind of gave the same spiel, like, I'm not a knitter and I might not be able to help you much. And he says, but I think these other three ladies over here could probably help you.
Love it.
And I'm like, oh, because we had just kind of been freely talking among, you know, about what we were seeing and, oh, we'd used this yarn before, we were looking for something else. And I just got a big kick out of it that you know, he had no confidence in what he knew, but he was sure that somebody that was already in there could help these people. So, but they did what they wanted to anyways. It was just funny. But
You were pressed into service in the yarn
Yeah.
store.
yeah, it was fun though. He was really gracious about his inability to really, you know, help anyone select anything important.
Important question,
Love
could he run the
that.
cash register?
He did. That's what he said. I know how to run the cash register.
That's all you
What
need.
I know. That's all we needed. So
There you go.
it was
That's
fun.
But there were
Um,
some really interesting, there's some really interesting sweaters there too. You could tell that they were created and designed by the person who was wearing them. That it was like a one of a kind, unique thing. There were some really cool things that we saw. So it was cool.
so amazing to see everybody's creations on display, for sure.
And the animals, we checked out the sheep. They're so cute. And the goats. I
Yeah.
love the animals. They're fun.
I'm just noticing which is that, like, if you look at well, it's like really dark out there, right? And look at, you know, we've got Teresa, Ginny, you've still got daylight, you know, sometimes I can forget that, like, yeah, and look, there's Leslie with sunshine shining, and it's like we're way out here on you know, Maine, far eastern,
Farther
and
north.
farther north too.
The sun's just
Funny.
passing down past the horizon.
It's still the middle of the afternoon here.
Mhm.
It's also almost 90 degrees here where I'm at. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
still very
we're
hot.
talking 50.
It was 80 in New Jersey yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Here too.
thank God I had Rhinebeck so I could wear my sweaters.
Yeah.
We had 70s yesterday.
Today was even almost, it was in the 70s here in the Hudson Valley area for in the mid 70s, and there was quite the breeze blowing too.
Yeah,
Um,
we were 82 here in southern New Hampshire, which was
Oh,
amazing.
Wow.
wow.
I know, gorgeous.
What
Yeah,
a beautiful autumn.
but we're in a drought.
We are
Mhm.
too.
I think everybody is.
Yeah, we are. We're
East
in.
Coast.
Yeah, we're
Ours
in.
is broken.
The picture you sent, Iris, on that email of the colors up there in Maine was sure pretty.
Yeah.
This is my favorite time of year, fall.
I know. And I was hearing somebody say that, we had drought over the summer, so the colors started a little bit later. And then we had some strategic downpours, like really soaking rains, and didn't fix the drought, but at least, got some moisture. And then like a cold snap. And so like all these little factors going into, we've had a nice long colorful, although I have a really beautiful tree outside of my bedroom window that's bright red maple leaves. And I came upstairs and I was like, the other day it was sunny, almost looked like my whole bedroom was glowing. And I looked at it and I said, oh, I bet it's gonna be, the next couple of days I'm gonna the leaves are gonna be gone, I can tell. And sure enough, I'm like, I'm going about my business, and I came upstairs and I looked at it and I was like, oh, you just dropped your drawers. Yep. And we're done with it. Just a beautiful bare tree with a few leaves left. So we're almost at the top of the hour here, and I see Carol. I'll put you back on in 1 second. I want to make sure to mention that we've decided to do a kind of a November, December continuation of our Wednesday Zooms and our Sunday meetups in the store. We're calling it like seasonal stitching, knowing that people will get into some holiday knitting, or maybe you'll need to, have just that little bit of time that you carve out for, I don't know, this project you're still making for yourself, and you want to like do that a little bit. So there'll be some information coming out about that in your last email, but we will also have one more meetup. Next Wednesday will be our last Socktober meetup. Okay. So that'll be super fun. Bring any socks that you have finished, and if you like, just bring your progress too. But Carol, yes, go for it.
I was watching YouTube the other night while I was knitting, which I do a lot. And I don't know whether you remember or whether you were even in the shop, but there was a woman, her name is Moran. She's from Israel, and the name of her YouTube site is Crochet Object, OBJET Knitting. You need to check it out. She did a fabulous job of the store. And I don't know whether she mentioned it to you or not. And I say that because I had a retail store, and people used to come in and put me on YouTube too, and I didn't know anything about it.
Oh, cool.
But she's from Israel. And she came over with her family. I think it was a 2-week trip. And yeah, she's fabulous. She's fabulous.
I'll look that up. That's awesome.
Check it out, because it's the fall foliage, because they spent a lot of time on Arcadia hiking, and yeah, so it's really beautiful.
Well, I'll try to find it, and I'll try to put it in the links that I include at the bottom of the email.
Yeah.
Great.
And there's a new
Thanks for that.
podcast from you guys.
Yep, we just did Rachel and I did a podcast the other day. Kristen wasn't able to be in, but Rachel subbed in, and we talked about, Rachel's just got some gorgeous things that she's making and dreaming about, and yeah, so check that out.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Well, thanks, you guys. It's always so fun to pass the time with you, and I'll look forward to seeing some more socks next week, and then we'll just continue hanging out on Wednesday nights after that, and it'll be great.
Projects.
Yeah. Well, thanks, you guys. Have a
Good night,
lovely
everyone.
Here, everybody. Happy knitting.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Soon.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.